You've heard me talk before regarding this whole thing around a runway of financial sustainability to get you going. Well, I talk about also in terms of, say, this runway math. What are the mathematics involved? Now, we might start talking off and saying we need a 1 year's worth of income in the bank to start. I tell you what, I don't know many people who'd be in that situation, but that would be ideal. I would also say your savings probably need to be in the vicinity of closer to 3 to 6 months of your expenditure. I think to me that would be a safer bet. I think the other thing is we also forget it does take time to turn around things. Like if I'm going into a contract through an agency, sometimes that could be turned around in as little as a week or 2 weeks. So therefore the runway doesn't need to be as much. But if I'm very niche, I'm commanding more of seniority in a project, that may take a couple of months run off. It might take some internal approvals. So this whole runway math needs to be a factor that you're comfortable with. But again, I would say 3 to 6 months worth of revenue sitting in the bank, because even if you got a contract within 1 to 2 months and then you allowed for, say, non-agency payment terms of 30 days to 45 days, you're going to be eating into that. Now, that's the survival lens. Let's look at the value lens. The more money that you've got in the bank and the more discipline that you have in terms of how you use it, my rule is, doesn't matter what the revenue comes in, I always pay myself the same amount of money per month, because that allows for the peaks and troughs. That's just the way I do it. But the other thing too is, and I remember I was sitting speaking to a potential client a few weeks ago, and I took a day off. I didn't do any work that day. I thought, no, I'm going to go down, get myself breakfast, meet with this client refreshed, and have a good conversation. And I did that because in the back of my mind, I knew that I didn't have to work that day to survive. I had money in the bank, so what I was doing was an investment in my time. Since then, that potential client has manifested into a meeting with their colleagues about what we might be able to do in terms of work moving forward. But again, if you're in a conversation and people feel that you're on the clock and you need to keep that short, chances are it's not going to be a real win-win outcome of that conversation. But again, the math runway is really important for you to consider in your own situation. And as you'll see in other areas of the solo move, I'll go into more detail there, provide more tools and techniques regarding that. But again, do not underestimate cash and do not underestimate your personal situation. It is real and things can change overnight.